What is up, my fellow cryptopreneurs? I hope all is well for you today in the cryptoverse. We have finally got action on the Bitcoin chart. What you see in front of you here, folks, is the daily chart. From left to right, all-time high, top left here, coming down. Before I get started, let me spit this out. Right here, you're going to be hearing a lot about the ETF that's coming for Bitcoin. I check the Bitcoin news. I just type Bitcoin news into Google and see what pops up. I try to do it about once a day. And there's these stories, right? Bitcoin slips to 29K, but FundStrat's Tom Lee sees $150,000 Bitcoin on ETF approval. There's another similar one down here. Bitcoin price outlook. Crypto headed to 180,000 on ETF approval. And that may be true. I'm claiming 139K is the next all-time high in the next cycle. But that could be true. It could go up that high, but wherever it goes, this is what I want to show you. This is the all-time high over here, back here, almost got to 70,000. This, folks, was an ETF futures product. Get this out the way. This is a futures product. This was the hype leading up to it. Just this massive story, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. Oh, there's an ETF coming out, Bitcoin ETF, awesome. Oh, it's going to be so awesome for everyone. Oh, yeah, all the public, get everybody getting, oh, it's going to be awesome. Ha, 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 ha. Boom. This is the day right here in the very top left. This day right here is the day the ETF came out. Now, it wasn't a true Bitcoin spot ETF, but it's still likely to be a very similar thing that happens. There it is, right? And everything to the right of this day right here, going down to the right from the all-time high, is after the ETF was approved. Bitcoin futures ETF approved. Boom! Just straight off a cliff. So I just want to point that out real quick before I get to my analysis here today. All right. That's what this is. I can't say it's going to be for sure, but right, that's likely what will happen, right? It could go to 150,000, but after the ETF is approved, the day after, watch out, massive dump. Just keep that in mind. We'll talk about that more later. If I got you into Planet Fitness, folks, this is the 5-year chart on Robinhood of Planet Fitness. I said probably get out of it a while back, and I've been wanting to make a video just on that, but I haven't got around to it. Planet Fitness was an eyeball call for me where I live. And there's a new place called Crunch Fitness that has moved in, and a lot of the young folks seem to really like that. And Planet Fitness, folks, is getting a little sketchy in my opinion. Now, it'll be a good company for a long time, but as far as the stock price going up, probably not. And I didn't want to get into this in this video, but let's go to the daily Bitcoin chart. I would be real leery of the stock market in general. If you're trying to protect money and you're worrying about it, this could get out of hand, and it could be Binance, right? I didn't want to get into this, but here we go. Binance, CZ at Binance. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but supposedly there's some bad stuff going on there. He's getting sued, and the Department of Justice is thinking about not pressing charges against him because they're worried what might happen, right? Because they know that this whole financial system is basically just a fake facade, right? It's a fugazi. That's literally what it is. And they're worried about what could happen if they do, because the FTX debacle almost started a domino effect with our banking system. And it looks like the Department of Justice is kind of like, well, we've got this guy dead to center, but maybe we don't want to do anything. Is kind of the feeling I get, which is kind of scary. Binance is huge, and it could lead to runs on banks, and that could just be really bad for basically the entire planet. It could be the fuse, right? So just watch out for that. Now, if that happened, if Binance went down, it would probably be catastrophic, and Bitcoin would definitely just plummet. But what would happen after that, if a bank started failing, Bitcoin would actually bounce way back up and just skyrocket probably in the next bull cycle. But anyways, okay, got that out of my mouth. So here's the Bitcoin chart, daily chart where we're at here today. It's kind of a mess. I want you to focus on this blue ascending parallel channel along with this orange ascending wedge. So I've seen a story, and I don't want to watch a lot of videos on YouTube because it'll mess my head up and it gets me off the rails. I seen a story the other day talking about this trend line here on bottom. This is actually the bottom of the blue channel and the yellow wedge here. Bitcoin's been bouncing off, right? Here, 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 3 times. It's looking like I might come down. Let's zoom in. It's looking like I might come down a 4th time here. Boom. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that would happen right around the $28,000 area if it did it in the next week or so. And that could be, like, in that story I read about this trend line, they're saying this trend line is super awesome because it's going to lead to a huge pump to 34,000 maybe. And that could be possible. Maybe it does come up here. Interesting. The top of that wedge and the top of that channel is about 34,600. In 3 weeks from now, a week or 2 from now, it's at 34,300, 200. So 34,000. That could happen. But there's some other stuff in there, right? This yellow line is the top of this range back here, and that yellow line is at 32,378. I think it'd be real difficult for Bitcoin to break through there anytime soon. But it could pump back up to like this dotted line, 31,600. Maybe it tests 32,000 or a little more. Who knows? Who knows? It could be 34. But anyways, the point I want to get to is a lot of people might not be talking about this. A lot of people, a lot of analysis will probably draw in the trend line on bottom from my experience watching YouTube videos. And they neglect to look up to see what, is there a parallel channel there? Yes. Is there a wedge there? Yes. And these are monster, mega bearish, super bearish patterns, right? And this has got a steepness to it. This is going to be hard to maintain in a bear market. And another thing you might not hear is we're not even really to the middle of the bear market. If you look back in history of Bitcoin, I know that's a mistake to look back at the history, but at the same time, we're still like 400 days away from where a true bull market would start after the halving cycle. If you look back in history, now I think it's going to start sooner, but even then, we're still 250 days away from the halving cycle, and give or take, I'm not going to look, but ballpark. So this is a bear market, right? And this is looking like a sucker's rally, like I've been saying and calling, but I've been saying it for a long time. And in my heart, I want to capitulate and say go long, and that's basically psychologically where I need to say yep, right? I want to capitulate. Here comes the dump. So keep that in mind. But there could be a bounce off the trend line here on bottom around 28,000 area. And if it breaks down out of this parallel channel, that's a $6,300 target. Let's say it broke out at 28,000. And this is the daily chart, so don't draw my straight line like this. It could take months to do it. Maybe it takes days. It could take days or months, right? But $6,000 from 28,000 would put us at about 21,700, right about here. And look over to the left. There is a resistance area there where that would line up pretty good. Now this is just speculation, but there's also this little descending parallel channel with a target of 1,500 that's in this one here. This one I've got highlighted here. Now that could coincide. That matches up pretty good as well. Let's zoom in. That matches out. This is a messy chart. Just bear with me here. So it could bounce off here around 28,000. And if it came up to the top of this little descending parallel channel there, if I misspoke earlier, say at about 29,000 or so, that would be at 1,500. That'd be 31,500. Be right here, but which looks pretty good for the middle of the big channel there. See that dotted line? That's what a target would be. So that's not out of possibility. That also lines up in the ballpark of the last 3 or 4 or 5 daily wicks up to that general area. If that were to happen, I would watch out for the big boom, boom back down to the bottom. But, you know, this that Binance thing with the Department of Justice, man, that could get ugly, and it might be such an ugly situation. It might be such a trigger fuse domino effect that they might just leave it alone, right? Because I think deep in their hearts, all the professionals know what the system is made out of today, and it's basically just wet paper mache. And so, okay, I was going to make a video about this, but gold, silver, Bitcoin, and there's also a diamond place that's making coins. Let me see if I can see that. Well, I don't want to say diamond supplies kind of manipulated, so I don't know. Gold and silver, man. If you're trying to protect money, gold, silver, and if Bitcoin dumps again, get on Bitcoin, buy a bunch of Bitcoin. You know, you see Bitcoin come down to 22,000, just start buying some Bitcoin and play the next 12, 18, 24 month cycle. And that's it, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you enjoyed it. Later.